Shalom, Chaverim. I've been without power for over 24 hours and likely won't get it back until tomorrow afternoon. So Yah is challenging a lot of people in the United States now to live without power. I'm at my office for today. I'd like to start looking at Psalm 29, verse 5. The voice of Yah breaks the cedars, and yes, splinters Yah the cedars of Lebanon. Splinters, shattered, break down the images, breaks in pieces. So let's look at a cedar of Lebanon tree. Imagine that being shattered to pieces by the voice of Yah. So we want to do the mitzvot. So let us continue our study with Matthew 22. And Yeshua answered again in parables and said, the kingdom of Shamayim is like a king who prepared a wedding feast for his son, and he sent his servants that they might call those who were invited to the wedding feast, and they did not desire to come. Again, he sent other servants and said, say to those who were invited that, behold, my supper is prepared, and my oxen and my fatlings are killed, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding feast. But they sneered at it. And one departed to his field, and another to his business. And the rest seized his servants and mocked and killed them. And when the king heard, he was angry and sent his armies and destroyed those murderers, and he burned their city. Then he said to his servants, the wedding feast is prepared, and those that were invited were not worthy. The footnote 200 is just a technicality. Go therefore to the main roads, and any one that you find you call to the wedding feast. And out went those servants to the roads and gathered any one that they found, bad and good, and the banquet house was filled. And the king entered to see the guests, and he saw a man there who was not wearing the attire of a wedding. So footnote 201, awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. From Isaiah 52:1. Verse 12, and he said to him, my friend, how did you enter here while you have no garments of a wedding? And he was speechless. Then the king said to the ministers, bind his hands and his feet and cast him into the outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are those that are called, and few are chosen. Footnote 202, also have chosen. A person who is called must choose to follow. To put the onus of being chosen solely upon Mashiach is false religion. True Aman demands voluntary discipleship and sanctification according to the word of Yah. Therefore, each soul also has the choice and responsibility of choosing to be chosen. Jews are Yahweh's chosen people. However, he has most certainly unchosen Jews who wage war against Torah, Yahweh, and his Mashiach. These words are very difficult to accept in the modern days, that our minds and our hearts get in the way of choosing to follow and be obedient to Yahweh. And it's difficult because a lot of the Bible, you can get into technicalities of what exactly does it mean to be obedient, and it can lead you down rabbit holes. So it really is important to go to Yahweh in prayer and Yeshua and ask for help. And they will guide us the path. It's challenging. It changes occur in our lives when we make that commitment. Rereading 14. For many are those that are called, and few are chosen. Then the Pharisees departed and took counsel on how to trap him by a question. They sent the Herodians with their disciples to him, and they were saying to him, Teacher, we know that you are true and do rightly teach the way of Elohim, and do not favor any man, for you do not discriminate between men. Therefore tell us, how do you think? Does Torah instruct us to pay the head tax to Caesar or not? But Yeshua knew their evil, and he said, Hypocrites, why do you tempt me? Show me the denarius of the head tax. And they brought a denarius to him. And Yeshua said to them, And whose image is this inscription? They were saying, Caesar. He said to them, Therefore give to Caesar that which is Caesar's, and to Elohim that which is Elohim's. See Romans 13:1. And when they heard it, they were amazed and left him and departed. In that same day, the Sadducees approached and were saying to him, There is no resurrection of the dead. And they asked him and said to him, Teacher, Moshe told us that if a man dies while having no sons, his brother should take his wife and raise up a seed for his brother. That's the kinsman redeemer. An example is the story of Ruth and Boaz. Okay, Deuteronomy 25:5 and 6. Also note that Kerboris and 1905 have different word orders in this verse, but this has no effect on the meaning. Deuteronomy 25, verse 5. If dwell brothers together, and dies one of them, and son has no, to not shall be married the widow of the dead man to outside the family to a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go into her and take her, his wife, and perform the duty of a brother-in-law to her. This gets very tricky in modern times. I'm not sure people would do this in modern times. Verse 25. Now there were among us 7 brothers. The first took a wife and died, and because he had no sons, he left his wife to his brother. What if he had daughters? Likewise, also the second and the third up to the 7th. After all of them, the woman also died. Therefore, in the resurrection, to which of these 7 will she be a wife? For all of them married her. Yeshua answered and said to them, You err because you do not know the scriptures or the power of Elohim. For in the resurrection of the dead, men do not marry women, nor are women given to husbands. Rather, they are as the messengers of Elohim in heaven. But concerning the resurrection of the dead, have you not read the thing which was said to you by Elohim, who said that I am the Elohim of Avraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yaakov. That's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. 205. Exodus 3:6, Deuteronomy 6:5, Matthew 22:37, Leviticus 19:18, Matthew 22:39, Psalm 110:1, and Matthew 22:44. So a lot of evidence for that I am. And he is not the Elohim of the dead, rather of the living. And when the crowds heard this, they were amazed by his teaching. But when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they assembled together. Then one of them, who knew Torah, asked, testing him, Teacher, which commandment in Torah is the greatest? And Yeshua said to them that you should love Master Yahweh, your Elohim, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might, and with all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment. And the second is like it, that you shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang Torah and the prophets. Commentary on hang, footnote 206, Torah and prophets hang or hold on by these two great commandments of love. Those who do the commandments are they who love Yahweh. Matthew 19:17, 1 John 5:2 and 3. Without love, observance of Torah is vanity, and without Torah, one's love is vanity. Verse 41. Now, while the Pharisees were assembled, Yeshua asked them and said, what do you say about the Mashiach? Who is he the son of? They were saying to him, the son of Dawid. He said to them, how then did Dawid in the spirit call him Master Yahweh? For he said, that Master Yahweh said to my master, you sit at my right hand until I place your enemies under your feet. Therefore, if Dawid calls him Master Yahweh, how is he his son? 207. See David's master in appendix. And no man was able to give him an answer, and no man dared to question him again from that time on. So let's chew on this. What do we really know? And can we live by these commandments, loving Yahweh and loving our neighbor? If the world could do that, it would be very, very different.